So today we are going to have some introduction regarding the machine learning with the event with the mythology Ramayana. So before we start regarding the machine learning aspects with regard to Ramayana, we'll just see some of the outline of the machine learning aspects. Basically, what is machine learning, why we need machine learning, and what are the basic aspects or the elements or the characteristics of the machine learning. So these are the things that we are going to look ahead, and then we'll compare some of the aspects of the machine learning with the mythology Ramayana. So how we are going to define the data, how we are going to collect the data, what are the basic steps that are available in the machine learning, those are coupled with Ramayana. So this is the major agenda of today's session. So before we go ahead with the machine learning aspect, so primarily we need to deal with the what is machine learning, why we need machine learning. So we are going to train the data in such a way that we are going to predict a particular task, do a particular task. So based on the particular task, we can have the outcome. So this is the major aspect of the machine learning. When we compare with the normal programming with machine learning programming, we are having some sort of inputs present in the normal programming. We'll do the process and will generate the output. This is the generalized programming. So this is the traditional programming paradigm where we have inputs and we are going to process the inputs. So based on the processing, we'll get the outputs. Now compared to the normal programming, when we do ahead or look ahead with regard to the machine learning programming, we have inputs and we have outputs. We are supposed to generate the process. So this is the critical task in the programming paradigm of machine learning when compared to the normalized programming. So majorly what we do is that we all mainly focus on the predictions. So future predictions are being done with the help of machine learning. So based on the output tracking, we are supposed to build a process. So that is the main thing. And when we are developing any sort of models, your model should be adaptable and it should have accuracy. It should have good accuracy and it should have good weightage of fitting regarding the data is concerned. So these three are the major concerns of the machine learning. So now we have inputs and we have outputs. We are having the computer to generate the models. So this is the process that we need to develop. And we are doing the model that is going to fit to this particular process is concerned. So that is the major criteria of machine learning paradigm. So why we are going to make up the machines to learn by itself. So majorly the machines, when we are going to train up with some certain sort of outcomes, so we have some sort of sufficient human expertise that is left in our particular domain area is concerned, and certain sort of scenarios and behaviors that can be changed rapidly over time. So this is also one of the major concern. Apart from this, humans have sufficient expertise in the domain, but it is translation of the problem or the computational task is one of the particular task. So all these things we can train up with the help of machines and they can learn by themselves and they can act among themselves. So this is the major definition of the machine learning. So we have any computer programming is set to learn from any sort of experience with respect to particular set of tasks. So tasks are nothing but T and we need to evaluate all the performance of this particular task. So this performance is going to play a major role as far as doing a particular task is concerned. Suppose let us just consider our childhood as an example. In our childhood, we do not know how to walk. So this is trained to us. So we'll crawl first and then we'll sometimes fall down and then we'll walk. In the same way, we are going to train up the machine so that it is going to work on its own by its experience. So how it is going to walk by itself. Like that, we are going to train up the machine in such a way that it is going to work by itself. So this is the major definition of the machine learning. So majorly what are the tasks that we do in the machine learning? So mainly we classify the tasks based on the inputs. Like if we have certain sort of images, we can classify dogs, cats, and zebras in those particular images. We'll do the regression. So these two are the major tasks. One is the classification, another one is the regression. So when we compare to the regression, we have all the stock predictions, all the house price predictions, all the predictions that comes under the regression aspects. And classification in the sense we are going to classify the data in such a way that these are the few parts and these are the few tasks. So we can do some of the other operations like translation, clustering, and grouping, and other aspects also we can do in this particular task. But moreover, more often we are going to concentrate on classification and regression. So these two tasks we are going to see in today's session. So how can we compare these two tasks with the mythology Ramayana, and how we can adapt those models to this particular mythological aspect is concerned. So as I said, we need to have some sort of experience. So based on the experience, what we gain. So that is based on the learning algorithm. We need to measure all the samples of that particular data elements is concerned. So we need to evaluate the performance as well, define the performance as well. So major part is that we have two kinds of learning in machine learning. So one is supervised learning, another one is unsupervised learning. So supervised learning in the sense we have certain sort of labels in this particular data elements are concerned. So now when we consider the Ramayana as an example, when we take up the Ramayana as an example, in the supervised learning task, we can have labels as two categories. In the Ramayana, there are two categories. So one is followed by the good, another one is followed by the evil. So what is good and what is evil, these two must be recognized first. So these two are being labeled in this particular mythology is concerned. So we are going to categorize all the supervised learning, which is labeled data, which has labeled data, and we are going to classify all the good into one cluster and all the evil into one cluster. So classification is one important task, and apart from classification, we need to cluster all the things at once. So if we have two labels, we can classify easily. When we have two or more labels, we need to classify a particular task. So that is one of the major criteria. And the second part, that is most important part, that is the regression. So regression is nothing but one kind of prediction. We are going to predict a particular value in such a way that we are going to predicting the future. So when we consider the mythology Ramayana, the same mythology Ramayana. So in this, we have done with the regression task. So mainly this regression task is helpful mainly to prediction, upgrade the prediction. So Rama has some sort of security available over here for his war field. In order to obtain the war field, the model that is developed by Rama, it should fit to that particular instance so that it can achieve success over Ravanasura. So this is the main thing that we use in the prediction or the regression model, majorly regression model. So we have different sort of regression models like linear regression, SPR, decision tree, random forest, etc. Apart from this, we have certain categorical values and nominal values in the classification. In the classification, we have categorical values or nominal values. We have KNN regression, logistic regression, and SVM decision trees. All the things are available in the supervised learning aspect. So mainly we are going to do the classification and the clustering in the supervised learning. Apart from, we are mainly focusing on the classification and the regression in the supervised learning. So in this, we have different sort of algorithms for the classification and for the prediction as well. So this is the major paradigm of supervised learning. So when we compare the Ramayana model with the supervised learning, we need to classify all the good and evils along with the labels. So this is the label of good, and we need to generate the label of evil as well. Like that, we are going to classify all the data according to the circumstances. So classification, as I said, we are supposed to assign a class label. So based on a class label, we are going to define all the domains. So like how we are classifying the sperm males and unsperm males, those are available. So in the same way, when we compare the Ramayana, we can have the good and evils at one section. Let me just see the image. Let me just showcase you the image. See, this is the labels, good versus evil. So one is the good, another one is the evil. Like that, we have classified all the labels according to the clustering. So according to the classification, and we are going to generate all the models according to the labels of data is concerned. So since in the machine learning we have huge amount of data, we are supposed to get huge amount of data in the machine learning. So data classification is been a major task in the machine learning. Mainly when we have the classification, we can have the sampling purpose, the sample that we are going to take regarding the data is concerned, how we can process that particular sample, that matters much. So this is the major aspect of classification. We have binary classification with two classes, as I said, good and evil. So we have two different sections, two different classifications in the Ramayana. So one is followed by good, another one is followed by the evil. So we have binary classification that occurs in the mythology Ramayana. So in the same way, we have multi-class classification. We can have two or more classes. We can define all the sort of elements like plant species, like disease predictions. All this comes under the multi-class classifications. And mainly, what are the basic life examples of machine learning in the supervised learning? We have task classification, we have facial recognition, we have signature recognition, we have customer delivery, we have spam detection, we have weather forecasting. All these things are done in the supervised learning. So compared to the supervised learning, we have said regarding the prediction, that is the regression aspect is concerned. We need to forecast the feature and we need to sort our model is best fit to this particular forecasting is concerned. As I said, in the var field, when there are certain sort of elements that are present in this particular Ramayana is concerned, in this particular var field, we have different sort of elements, various sort of elements. And Rama is supposed to predict who is going to win the war based on the war weapons and the war soldiers are concerned. So most of the people are they are consisting of Vanar Sen antam kadanda. So mainly these are consisting of monkey and other sort of elements. So how he is going to win the war with these sort of people are concerned. So that is going to predict the major thing as the regression is concerned. So we need to forecast with the data available, and based on the data available, we need to update with relate to the upcoming data. So how our model is going to fit to the upgraded data based on the field records that are concerned. So these are the major things as far as supervised learning is concerned. Now compared to the supervised learning, we have unsupervised learning. We do not have any sort of labels over here. So we simply need to classify all the data. So in the Ramayana, when we consider the epic, so there is Hanumanta who needs to go ahead to Lanka. So that is the main thing. Discover the patterns of Lanka. So Hanuman need to discover some patterns on Lanka. So we do not have any sort of labels for the distance or the travel is concerned. So that is the major aspect that takes place in the unsupervised learning. So we are supposed to travel, we are supposed to classify the data without any labels, discover some new patterns and group them according to the particular aspects are concerned or elements are concerned. We have clustering and other classification, other techniques in this particular unsupervised learning is concerned. So like how Hanuma is going to track the Ravanasura empire with the help of unsupervised learning, discover the patterns to Lanka and how can he reach to Sita in Lanka. So that is the major thing that happens in the unsupervised learning as well. So now compared to the analogy of Ramayana, what are the basic supervised and unsupervised learnings? So Ramayana, so Rama learning from stages and examples. So basic stages and mechanisms, those are the analogy of basic Ramayana analogy. So Hanuman exploring the Lanka, as I said, without any prior info, without any information, he is going to reach the Lanka. Data which is having the labels as good or evil, which is the binary classification that occurs in the Ramayana. So based on the good and evil, we are going to predict who is going to win in that particular war. Classification and prediction. These two are the things that can be done in the supervised learning. Unsupervised learning, he is going to observe. Hanuman is going to observe all the patterns of Lanka and he is going to discover the patterns or groupings in that particular Lanka. They like how he's going to win that particular warfield. What are the basic strengths of the enemy or the evil that is concerned. So that those are to be evaluated. So that can be evaluated by using the discovering patterns. And machine learning techniques, as I said, we have classification and regression. We have clustering and association. So these two are the major things that happens in the unsupervised learning as far as Ramayana analogy is concerned. So apart from this, we have reinforcement learning and other sort of learning techniques that are available in the Ramayana field. So these two things we'll discuss in the next upcoming sessions. Apart from this, we have one of the most important thing, that is the machine learning problem. How can we sort out or steps or classify the particular problem is concerned? So Ramayana, the basic problem starts with establishing a dharma. So when Sita got encapsulated by Ravanasura, so the game actually starts over there. So that is the main problem. He need to sort out that particular problem is concerned. So then we're going to start with collection of the data. So all the characters that met to win the particular war, finally to reach to that final destination evil is concerned. So this starts with all the characteristics that comes under the collection of the data. And based on the particular data, we need to prepare the epic. Suppose the Ramayana epic should start with the preparation of the Grantha. So the Grantha is nothing but the preparation of the data, that particular data. So now compared to that, we need to develop the feature engineering depending on the features. We need to select all the warfield agents, and based on the warfield agents, we need to select which agent is going to train up, what is the particular feature of this particular agent is concerned. So these are the major aspects that occurs in the feature engineering that is done. So what are the capabilities of all the soldiers? So those are to be evaluated in the feature engineering. And based on that, we are going to choose a model. So this is the main thing that happens. So based on the features, what model is going to fit to this particular feature is concerned. If a person, there is a saying in English like that, if you want to train a fish in the sky, it should be it looks like something stupid. So fish should be in the water, not in the sky, right? So if we train a bird to walk deeply into the sea, it's somewhat stupid. So based on the features, we need to select the model, and particular model that best fit with those particular features are to be trained first. And we are supposed to choose a particular model. So that should be classified first. So in Ramayana, we have Dharma classification. So Dharma should win. So this is the major outcome of Ramayana. So based on the Dharma, we are going to classify or choose that particular model is concerned. And Rama's journey, it started with training all the models that he has according to the strategical aspects are concerned that have to be trained first. And hypertuning parameters, these are some of the adjustments that we'll come across when we discuss regarding the other topics of machine learning. Apart from this, the model should be tested and deployed before winning the war. How can we win the war? So that should be predicted based on the models. What is the accuracy of SVM to win the war? What is the accuracy of decision tree to win the war? What is the accuracy of random forest to win the war? So these are the data that are to be classified first. To establish Dharma, how these models are to be trained first. So these are to be evaluated first, and later on, these can be deployed to that particular instance is concerned. Apart from this, we need to monitor the model again to win that particular war field is concerned. How can we win that particular war in this particular strategical aspects are concerned? So these are the few steps in machine learning aspects. So in the next session, we are going to discuss regarding the basic applications or basic reinforcement learning. And we can also have some of the outline of sample project regarding the Ramayana model is concerned. Madam?
Hello, sir. Sir, is my